Okay, I think we're live. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, consciously created motherhood, conscious mothers. I'm so excited to be joining you today with a dear, longtime friend and graduate of Awakened Motherhood. We were connected as friends. How long ago, Kat, did we meet? It was
Late or mid 90s?
late 90s. It
Late
was
90s?
late 90s. Yeah, and we
That'd
were
be
adults
crazy.
then, so we're out. We're not spring chickens anymore.
Not so
But
much.
we were spring chickens when we met. And this is Kat Aletto, and she's such a bright light and a dear friend and soul. We had sort of grown and gone on to separate things after we worked together, and then kind of found each other again because of Awakened Motherhood, which is such a
Hmm.
blessing. So
Totally.
she very graciously volunteered to come on and just openly share her heart, her life with you all today, so that our intention is to tap into your hearts and awaken something for you that is true for you, or something that you need to hear today in order to take new action in your life and claim the life of worth and of abundance that's here for you. So, welcome, welcome, Kat. Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yep, I'm Kat Aletto. I live in Denver, and I am a stepmother to two kids, actually, two daughters. One turns 18 today, and the other turns 16 tomorrow.
Oh my God, that's exciting!
Yeah, yes, and
Congratulations. That's
we
awesome.
have. It is pretty awesome because the older one graduated this year, and
Sweet.
all the stuff that came with an odd end of the year. But I'm in a happy relationship with their dad, and we've been together. I think we're 7.5 years or so.
So awesome. And we didn't check in to say how is he doing through all of this pandemic, but I know that you're doing very well, so likely he's doing okay.
We're managing.
It's all connected. It's all
Yes,
connected.
yes.
Um, so let's just dive in, and you guys say hi when you come on. And I think, Kat, on your screen you can see people's comments if you click on that bar. I forgot to tell you, on it's probably on your right, that says comments. It self-selects private chat, but if you click comments, then you can see when other people say hi. So you
Okay.
guys, please do say hi and where you're watching from. If you can give your okay to StreamYard, who we're streaming through for using this app, then we can see who you are. So then I know if I know you, and that would be really fun too. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user. We can't see who you are, but that's okay. If you don't want to consent, so we know who you are, we can handle that too. Um, all right, so let's dive in and just tell us a little. Give us a picture of where you were before Awakened Motherhood, before you reached out, if you can remember back that far. So we should also say you graduated from Awakened Motherhood. How
Last
long ago?
March 2019.
Okay, so that's a while ago, a year and a bit,
Hmm.
long enough to test your legs and everything you've learned, and find out if it's for real. And so if you can remember back that far, what was it like to be you in your body, in your life and relationships, and just share with us a little about that.
Hmm. So I'm very sensory or oriented. So I was extremely uncomfortable in my body. While I had good health and good fitness and things like that, I felt, wound up to the extent of I kept having this vision of myself burning out, which I think is a normal term for, feeling stressed. But I remember literally thinking that I'm just going to stop because my energy will have completely depleted. Because at the time, I didn't really know why. I just knew that it was so uncomfortable and so um, unlike the place I imagined myself to be, and it felt inevitable at the time. And so I was able to, reach out. I would talk to friends and I would talk to therapists. I would also talk to my partner. We were having problems in terms of just not seeing eye to eye, and looking back, just knowing about the scarcity mindset, just feeling like, how are we going to make numbers work? We both have our own businesses. There was just a lot of pressure there. I also was not wanting to afford therapies, but I was able to get some sessions through my health insurance. So I just kind of signed on to anybody. And, as soon as we went in there, within the first session, she had asked me about, did I want to take meds? And I didn't want to. Um, and just through talking with her, I was able to get some insight, but I just kept saying, I want tools. I want to know how to help myself. And so part of me on a deeper level knew I could help myself, but I couldn't figure out what that was. But I knew it wasn't therapy. And I should say I've had a lot of different types of talk therapy over the years. And I have had, one relationship with a therapist that was very, very helpful. But at the same time, I knew where I was in my life. Just talking about it wasn't going to make it any better. I wanted to be more active in that. And I knew I had to be more active in that. So I had been following Consciously Created Motherhood for about a year at that time, and had a mutual friend who had gone through the program and had heard some of her stories just, offhand. It wasn't like we had a big conversation about what she was going through, but I could hear her changes. And so when I was here, it was in January of 2018, depleted, about feeling like I was going to burn out, frustrated with my relationship, worried about my partner too. He struggles with his own stuff, and I was feeling threatened by that or taking that on. I finally reached out for my clarity session with Honor, and I just felt like I felt relief. I didn't feel, actually, I felt like I need something so bad. We talked, and you were able to hear me, and I felt heard. And then I remember having the offer of like, okay, if you would like to sign up, we're ready. I'd like to hear from you kind of right away. And having that, I don't want to say pressure, but having that presented to me, like, I'd like to hear back from you with, by tomorrow, what you think about this. I felt stress. I felt urgency. But I knew I had to respond. And as soon as I responded, I had two feelings. One immediately was like, thank God I'm going to get help. Like, that's what I felt like. I mean, I had help all around me and people that loved me, and I had resources, but I felt like after having talked to Honor, like this was going to work for me. But I didn't know why. I just had
the logical mind cannot explain it.
Yeah, the logical mind could not explain
Only to a degree.
Yeah. But then I started the classes, and just kind of dove in, and it was a path of massive awakening that I couldn't even navigate even as I was going along. I was just going with it. There was definitely a willingness to say yes to wanting to change so badly, that I was willing to just do whatever it took. And a lot of that wasn't doing, a lot of that was just being, which was a relief.
Oh, that's so good. Everything you said is so moving to me. I'm excited to see Rhonda's joining us. Hi, Rhonda, who knows and loves you. Everything you said was so beautiful there, and thank you for sharing that with me. It's really cool to hear about your process that you went through in taking a stand for you. What I heard when you just said that was, that as much as fear came up about you really creating real tangible change in your life, as much as that fear comes up and grabs you, and it feels like pressure, or grabs you by the throat, it's like, that that's there because this is a real opportunity for change. And that is exactly how it goes for a lot of people, almost all of us, I think, when I'm trying to think of a few examples of people who sort of have practiced it so much that when they get on the phone with me, it's a little bit more smooth for them because they've been through that hoop so many times with taking that next big step. But it's so accurate to say, I felt the pressure of having to choose me or choose to stay where I am, choose like future me or past me. So cool. And one of the things that I remember about what was going on for you in your everyday, so you're really you have, like you said, like you experience everything through your body, and emotions are in your body. And I can remember the, uh, you didn't say it this way, but like being sped up, you were really sped up. And so your barrier was like, I can't just be here now and relax in my body. That was so huge. And so that, what you just talked about with not having energy, feeling like I was just gonna totally just stop, come to a stop
Mhm.
and burn out. Those two things are so connected. Like you were amped up, overly stressed in fight or flight all the time, and so exhausted.
Mhm.
And I can remember what a massive shift that was for you when you got it. You really got it, and how to just be in you and with you and stay connected to that and find that home within you. That was amazing to
Mhm.
see your shift into ease. And then it's just like,
Right.
what is it that you say? Do you wanna share that when you say to yourself when you find that breath or when you find that calm? Do you remember this? You say,
Mm-mm.
"Oh, um, you get yourself back into that place when you feel you're
Oh,
going,
right.
you go, 'Oh, here I
Oh,
am.
I would say like, "Ah, here I am."
Here I am." Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so beautiful. So, "Oh,
Yeah.
here I am," like all of me back together intact.
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
And but it was pretty bumpy, because the very first module of Awakened Motherhood, asked for a meditation, and it was a process, like a technique. And I was so uncomfortable breathing. Like I was angry, twitchy, my face hurt. And all that was being asked of me is to breathe in a certain pattern.
Mhm,
And that was really obvious to me how far off I had become, because
mhm,
it was a simple thing, and it just slowing down seemed that far away. And but I would, it took me maybe a week's or a month to be like, oh no, you absolutely have to slow down to make any of these changes you want in your life, because there just has to be a higher level of awareness. If we're always focused on the to-do list and the what happens if, or the next shoe's going to drop, like you never get the chance to be part of creating what you want. But in order to be part of creating what you want, you have to slow down and listen. And that was something brand new for me. But it is now the core of everything that I do,
mm,
the slowing down, and then not being afraid when you are uncomfortable, realizing that's just a sign. I used to think being uncomfortable was a sign that you had to get up and run or do something or fix something. Now I understand that being uncomfortable is just the indicator that um, you're not quite on the path that you want, or you're not doing something that serves you and your highest good. And it's just, my life is so much more relaxed because of it. There's just
mhm.
less pressure now.
Mhm. You are so much more relaxed. Like, it's unbelievable. I mean, I wish for the sake of the learning here that we could have a snapshot of what it was like to have a conversation with you before.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you've always been a master presenter of being, like, super chill, because there's an aspect of you that is super chill. It's your true
Uh-huh.
essence. But the winding up for so many years was just in
Mhm,
a habit. Your body was in a habit. And
mhm,
take that sort of, overdoing away and just peel away to your natural essence, and it's like, "Oh, man." You guys can
mhm.
feel this. She's so grounded. She's so present. It's delicious. It's exciting. I love it. Um, I was gonna ask, what difference does it make for you now in your everyday life as stepmom, as partner, as business owner, and creative person and
Mhm,
active person? What difference does it make for you to have achieved true presence, which we also call slowing down? But as you know, when you heard the word slowing down in the beginning, you were like, "No, no, 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 don't slow
right.
down, that will not be
Yeah,
safe to slow down."
that
You
won't
have
be
to build
safe.
that in, and
Yeah.
then once you're like, "Oh, this is amazing and secure, this is where
Mhm,
security lies." So
mhm.
curious, how are you able to notice, what's different in your everyday life from that now?
Yes, I think, um every th- what I realize is that things aren't happening to me, but rather I just get it's this the observer.
Mhm.
Um, so I feel like I was so sunk and not enmeshed, but like I was wired to feel like anything that happened was either my fault or my doing or my lack of doing. Where I feel like now, because of the slowing down and the separating from, I don't know if it's separating, that's the right word, but just the slowing down component helps me be that I get to notice what just happened around me, but I also get to notice how I feel. And
Mhm.
then that sort of momentary recognition gives me a chance to choose how I want to react. Where before the reactions were just completely almost um, instantaneous with the whatever just happened. I can't think of the right word.
Mhm.
But now having that space, and it's maybe only a millisecond, and but I do have a choice, and I recognize that sometimes I say, "Oh look, oh wow, that really just got me mad," and sometimes I choose to just get mad, like I
Yeah,
let myself get mad. I'm like,
feels
oh
good.
yeah, and I'm just gonna do it. But at least I know I'm choosing that, and then usually, honestly, I watch it unfold. It's like, oh man, if I chose to be mad, and that old thing played out again, and now
Mm.
I'm have to do cleanup. Well, I guess I could have chose the other one, which is just take a breath or let someone have their reaction and not jump in, um, because that always works out actually the way you want it to work out. So how I feel it affects me now is having an observer awareness of my own life and my own emotions and my own reactions, realizing that I'm not those emotions, I'm not those reactions,
Mhm.
which is something I learned in the class, but now I'm almost having a hard time describing it because it is who I am now.
Yeah, it's integrated, it's fully in
hmm
your identity.
hmm
That's just a cool thing to kind of illustrate, and I find that that's true too about trauma, like, when we release the belief in the energy, that's perpetuating all those reactions or everyday anxiety or whatever it is, it's like it leaves everything. It leaves the memory, it leaves the body. It's
hmm
when it's clear, it's really clear, and we know that's because we did that. We took new action, we chose something new. And then it's often people will say, like, "I can't even really remember what that was that we talked about
Yeah.
last time," or
Yeah.
Wait, what was that again?" I'm like, "Don't go back. Doesn't matter. It doesn't
Right.
matter. Let it go." Because the new is already integrating and taking hold in your energy. So that's so, so cool.
hmm
Um, so you've said a lot about it already, but usually I ask like, okay, where are you now? What's tangibly different? And maybe to say something about the landscape of your life, or like what happened in your business, or what happened in your partnership, or I don't know, anything like that that's external that you could share.
Well, I would say a good example, I think, is the onset of COVID and shelter in place and change in economy and work. I knew that, okay, so this is a year after I had completed the course, that, okay, we're shutting down. I'm in an events based, live, in person type of business. There is no question that as soon as this happened, that my income and my business was going to change dramatically. And I also knew that my old scarcity mindset of I don't have enough money, I'm going to wake up one day and end up in the gutter, I can't take, yeah, that had the potential to habitually just come out. And I knew that um, I had learned by being a witness of my own life and experiencing this, that when I don't hold on to those thoughts, other good things happen.
Mhm.
So to double back to during the course, I started the course being very scared about money. And during Awakened Motherhood, a lot of things happened to me, including my best year in business, bought a house, all sorts of really great things. And that wasn't because I was doing a lot of things differently. I was just being different. I
Mhm.
was just opening to opportunities. So I said, okay, well, I learned that in 2019, that if I keep my mind open to abundance, or keep my mind open to being safe and being able to take care of myself, that these good things came in. So I said, okay, here, fast forward to 2020, COVID. I'm like, well, I could, if I think about all these scary things, I'm going to have a terrible experience these next couple of months. But if I shift my mindset and focus on the things that I learned in Awakened Motherhood, and I also joined the graduate group Oasis, if I keep doing the work that I'm doing, I'm going to be okay. And so I kind of made that statement to myself at the very, like March, right, 3 months ago. And I followed through on that. And since then, I'm just not afraid. I just know that we're going to be okay. And even if I can't control a lot of these situations, or I can't control any of these things that are going on, but just having a life where I don't have to worry all the time, I get to enjoy my life. And I'm going to be 100 times more likely to achieve what I want. And in the meantime, enjoy my life. And that was because of what I learned in Awakened Motherhood.
I love
No
it.
question.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, the backstory is you pivoted in your business when this happened and you couldn't do live events. It was obvious, and suddenly everything disappeared. That's the thing about having agility, like having an agile mindset, or having emotional uh, sort of anchoring. You know where to go when the shit hits the fan. You Instead of like being up here spinning when the pandemic happened, you were really already anchored in, and so you got to have a conversation with yourself. And that's the beautiful thing. But when there's nothing anchored in, and I think women in this group, moms, feel it all the time. You can feel when your energy is just spinning all around, because like as you said, you react to everything, to every upset, to every stress in your environment.
Yes.
The pandemic sent you spinning, and the fear is up, and all of that stuff. Or quarantine with kids sent so many people spinning. And the difference is you're in charge of you now. You're in charge of your energy. You decide where you flow attention. You have control over that. Like when you haven't done the inner work, that sounds great. That sounds like a great idea. And so people will be like, I'm in charge of how I feel. I get to decide. But the nervous system is like, no, no, no. No, you don't. You don't get to decide that. And all the old beliefs come flooding in and squelching the new thought, the new intention. So I just love how you really exemplify what happens as you change over from old system to new system. And you're on that new operating system now. And what a beautiful gift for your family too, that throughout this you have found your footing, because I'm sure that there's a certain amount of reliance on you now as the grounded presence in the
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
You kind of get all in with that when you decide to get super healthy, and then everyone sort of looks to you for, what are we going to do now? Are we going to freak out, or are we going to be okay here?
Right. And I think our relationships have definitely, I know our relationships have improved. And, so I started becoming aware of myself in relation to the kids. And yeah, so I feel like um, my ability to be a mom, or to be a step parent, or just to be a person in an organism or an organization or group that is our family, I feel like I get to enjoy them a little bit more. I put less pressure on them, which allows them to have a happier life, and allows me to give my own self some space. It's helped my partner Craig, because we're not arguing about things about the kids. It's just that true, gift of taking care of yourself really does become visible all around you, and in the people and the relationships around you.
Yeah, I love that. Relationships have a beautiful way of just transferring energy. And when things aren't good in us, then that really bites us in the ass. But when things are good in us and that energy transfers out, it gives back 100 times. That's when things get so much more peaceful and so much more joyful
Hmm.
for everybody else too.
Hmm.
Oh, I love it. So anything else you want to share? I usually will ask someone, what's the most valuable thing you're taking away with you from your time in Awakened Motherhood? You've already shared so much, but anything else you want to say?
I think one of the nice things about this course is twofold. That I don't know that I can totally get into it, but at the same time, I love the idea that this is, or what I think is different about honors course or your course, is that it's very practical, but not, it's very practical in that we're doing meditation, we're doing this, no space, no time, like full acceptance and presence, that as, we read books, we see little quotes on Instagram, and, it just, the things that we say, they almost become like colloquialisms, if I say that right, that just roll off our tongue. You got to love yourself first before you can love anybody else. But class actually teaches you how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you make something that's so otherworldly and of the infinite realm into something that's so actionable, but you have totally done it. And I
So
love
good.
it.
Yes, that was my intention. And it's
You did
happening.
it.
So grateful. Yeah. This is my manifestation. Like every woman who goes through and really as everyone starts to integrate that, like the practical into the magical realm, it's so beautiful. Cause all it is, it's like we're just awakening your natural self. We're awakening that beautiful true essence that has so much armor, on top from so many years. And when we let that fall away and then strengthen that authentic you and teach her and your along with your inner child and your higher self and all of that to really align, then the anxiety that just falls away, as well as the overwhelm. It's like we're not cracking open anxiety or analyzing it. We're just teaching you to trust you, and as you do, and to know intricately about yourself and how you work. And when you get that and implement the tools, then the byproduct is joy. The byproduct is anxiety falling away. The byproduct is overwhelm eliminates, just disappears. And so, yeah, we couldn't do it if we didn't get into the nitty-gritty of the practical steps and tools. I think we can't do it without a recipe or a structure. So, I'm happy you shared that worked for you, and just that it's important for all of us. Like, it's not it's not, people would be like, "I am failing because I am not able to do it alone from a book." And, that just isn't that's such an erroneous story that so many people are stuck in, and it's not fair to say that about ourselves, that we're failing because we can't do it from shelf help. We gotta roll up our sleeves and get in
Yeah.
there, which
I
you do.
like the community more than I thought I was going to. I would say that's another piece that came up. I thought, how the heck am I going to have time to do this?
Yeah.
This coursework? How is I going to get on these calls? And do I really want to listen to other people talk about all their stuff? Like, I'm already drenched in my stuff. And again, just at the start of anything new, it feels different, unusual. You kind of struggle against it. But I really found that actually being part of the group was absolutely 100% part of the growth. So you have your process, you have your connection with, the instructor who is totally available on so many levels to you. But then you also have being a witness to other people doing the work that shines the light on what you do, but it also I think being able to hear and listen to something that's not related to you, but is, using the same language and just the same emotional space that's created, you just get such insights, circulating because of that community. So it doesn't matter if that person has little kids or has stepkids, has, whatever, they're divorced or they're going through something really challenging, no matter how different it is from you, that hearing one another talk and learn and grow together is part of your own growth process.
I love it. And I'm like you. I didn't ever want to grow with anyone else. Like I thought that about myself. I just do it alone. Let's do it all alone. It's annoying. I don't want to have to like
Yeah.
work alone. And here I am, like totally now leading this revolution of mothers working in the collective, because I really, during my own awakening, a piece of my own awakening was like, you're not supposed to do it alone. That's not how we're designed. We're supposed to learn about connection through connection.
Uh-huh.
Connection to ourselves happens through connection with others. So, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I feel the same way now. I treasure watching what happens in the collective with what people pick up from each other. It's absolutely mind blowing and magical, and nothing you have access to in individual work, because you only get to hear about your own problems in individual work. So it's
Mhm.
really limited to that one track versus like 10 tracks, and you could take anything that works for you and what you want.
Mhm.
So cool. You guys leave Kat some comments, give her some love, throw her some hearts for this beautiful, honest, vulnerable share. I appreciate you so much and what you're giving to this group, what you're offering them. And just saying, there's a door if you want to walk through it. That's kind of
Mhm.
what these interviews are to me. So I would just invite anybody who's moved by Kat's story, reach out, leave a comment, ask a question. We'll be happy to come back and check in on those later.
Mhm.
And if you want to find out if you are serious about getting ready to feel good, then reach out to me, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Just book a clarity call, and we'll have a chat about it and see if, like Kat, you're just ready to, no matter how scared you might be, ready to dive in and create some real momentum for yourself in your life.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you so much, Kat.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And thanks you guys for joining and for watching. Lots of love to you, Kat. And
Yes, you
I know I'll see
too.
you again soon.
Thank you.